right. So we do have some public comment for general consent items. So before we do that, I will turn it over to Anne to call them up.
Okay. So our first speaker for item 4D will be Rose Higuera. Is she here? Okay, so I'll come back when I see her come in. For item 4RR, Lisa Turner.
So as Lisa Turner's coming up, the Board of Education is happy to receive public comments. We look forward to hearing from the public. I just want to remind, because I see some new faces in the audience, you have 3 minutes to speak. There will be a timer that will come up on the screen, so you'll see it there. And then when your time's up, your public comment is over. You can't ask us questions. I mean, you can ask us questions we can't answer during public comment. So I don't want you to feel like we're being rude. So just wanted to say that. And all right, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. I'm Lisa Turner from Palomar Family Counseling Service. I'm happy to be here. So thank you for having me, Board of Education and OUSD administration. I'm here. I know the approval of our contract is a general consent item, so maybe I don't really need to be here, but I felt it was important for 2 reasons. I really want to say 2 things. One is thank you for your partnership. We really do take I think it is a privilege to continue to serve the mental health needs of Oceanside Unified students and their families, and we really appreciate that, so thank you for that. And also, I wanted to call out a thank you to you for your acknowledgement that students' mental health needs are vast and they need to be addressed. And I believe that this district is taking this very seriously. I just see that from the actions that you've taken, from supporting putting school counselors in every school, and a lot of other items that come through LCAP, and through your partnerships with other community organizations as well. We know it takes a village, but we know students' mental health needs are really important, and I think it really comes down to you understanding that if their mental health needs are unaddressed, then you can't do your job of educating them. And so we're really thrilled to be a partner in that, and thank you for your support. This year, under the contract, this year our staff served 835 students in 20 schools, and that's really remarkable. We have never served that many before. We've never had that many referrals before. So I think that just kind of speaks to some of the things that we saw this year, which was increased, higher need, mental health needs, certainly greater referrals. We saw greater family involvement, which is great. And we also had really greater collaboration. I mean, I think we've long been good collaborators, but the last couple years, it's just been really amazing, the extra efforts that have been put forth by the school counselors, by school administrators, by teachers. Just the care coordination for students has really been tremendous. So we're happy for that. And we're also pleased to report that we were able to obtain a small amount of funds. It's not a lot of money, but it's a little bit to help support students' needs in the summer. So for students who don't get their needs met in the summer, we have a scholarship fund. So all of our counselors have identified students on their caseloads that were really high risk, that they're concerned about not getting service in the summer, as well as trying to address the needs of some of the students who were referred late in the year and could not be seen just due to capacity and into the school year. So with that, I just wanted to say thank you again for your continued partnership.
Thank you for the public comment.
Next speaker, Katie Taylor on item 4LL.
Good evening. Walking in here today, I presume the school board wants their safety protected because I saw 2 police officers and 2 police cars out front. Regarding Superintendent Vitelli, I would like to express my deep disapproval of her performance. I'm holding a letter posted on the Oceanside Unified School District website on the horrific shooting at Robb Elementary School in Texas, in Uvalde, Texas, referring to Oceanside.
Excuse me, are you speaking on item LL?
That's what they told me to speak on.
Okay.
Okay. All schools have full-time counselors and mental health professionals available for students. Please don't hesitate to reach out for support. Well, I'm telling you, so far as I know, these resources can't stop an active shooter. There is no information on school campus safety at our elementary and junior high schools. Next item that's in the report in her letter. Please know safety is a top priority at OUSD. Our schools are required to practice lockdown training throughout the year. We have an updated and approved crisis response plan. This is key. 2 of our high schools have participated in Diamond Safety Training, which is the most up-to-date crisis training provided by the San Diego County Office of Education. So 2 high schools have resource officers, in other words, security. Where does that leave the junior high and elementary schools? The school shooting in Texas was at an elementary school. I guess in Oceanside, they're just out of luck on on-site security. 2 days later, I was appalled to attend the CTE showcase, Career Technology and Education, El Corazon Senior Center. Remember, just 2 days after the massacre in Texas, there was no police security on site. When I was present, there was a large crowd of parents and students, and not one police officer. You have 2 out here, there was not one there. Bottom line, under Superintendent Vitale, there's no real-time security for students, but if you need grief counseling, just go to the website. Vitale, over this failure, this school board, I know they're too weak, you should resign or be fired. Plenty of money to raise the bloated salary of Superintendent Vitale and teachers, but not enough to protect our kids.
All right, thank you for that comment. I'm just going to do a reminder. When you pick items to speak about, you need to speak about those topics, or you can do the public comment at the end on any topic. So I just, friendly reminder.
Next speaker is Rose Higuera, and Rose has chosen items 4D, 4RR, and 4SS.
Am I getting this right?
That's Apple purchased Chromebooks.
So Rose, if you can speak on item 4D, and then when you move to the next one, let us know so that we can start the timer over.
Okay, so regarding 4D, I'm just curious as to why we're trying to spend money on Chromebooks and iPads when we just got out of 2 years of COVID, where just about every child in the district in the United States got a brand new electronic device. So I'm seeing like complete irresponsibility with funds that should be going towards teachers and our kids learning and not like all of these electronics. So I'm just kind of curious as to why we're spending tons and tons of money on Apple products, Chromebooks, iPads. Where is the accountability? Is there an answer or?
We don't answer questions.
I mean, we just spent tons and tons of money on our kids. I mean, everybody had a brand new laptop that went home. And so I'm trying to understand where the justification is for all of this unnecessary spending. That's all.
4RR.
Yeah, so reading in the agenda, I'm reading about counseling services with Palomar Family Counseling Services. I thought we were in the business of education. You guys are not psychiatrists or psychologists, and I don't think you have any business referring children to counseling on site. That is something that the parents have the right, and I'm just really like flabbergasted as to why we're introducing counseling into the school system. I don't know how many thousands of dollars you guys are spending for Palomar counseling services, but I don't think that you have a right to get into kids' social, emotional, psyche, mental issues. You guys need to stick to education. That's what our tax dollars are paying all of you guys for. So I think this is a very dangerous area that you guys are trying to get into, but I know that you guys are going to approve, because that's what you guys do. Whether it's detrimental to families and children, you guys are going to go ahead and approve it. So I'm here to stand up for families and say that you don't have any business veering into the family counseling services for our children. That's all.
Item 4SS.
Again, this is another agreement that you guys have made for counseling services with Wellness Together Incorporated. Again, why? I mean, parents, moms and dads, families, they're the ones that should decide whether or not their children go to counseling. They're the ones that can find a counselor that shares their values and their beliefs. You guys don't have any business counseling our kids. That's a very dangerous thing to do. And I'm sure a lot of families feel the same way as I do. Stick to education. That's all.
Is that our last public comment, Ann? Okay. All right. Thank you for that presentation. I believe we have public comment on this item.
I'm gonna need a translation. Okay, lo digo yo primero y usted. Sí. Oh. Should I say it first and then? Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Good afternoon, board members and Superintendent Vitali. Mi nombre es Verónica García y soy una mamá del distrito. Tengo 2 niñas y una de ellas tiene necesidades especiales. Okay. Escuchar esta propuesta dada por la Special Education Task Force me da esperanzas y una nueva visión para el futuro de mi hija.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay.
You guys are going to tag team it? Okay, there you go. Got it.
My name is Veronica Garcia. I'm a mother that has 2 children in the district, and one of them has special needs. I heard the proposal given by the Special Education Task Force, which gives me hope and a new vision for the future of my daughter.
Si el propósito de este plan es darle mejor entrenamiento a los maestros de educación especial y educación general y para profesionales en las áreas de necesidad ya identificadas por el Task Force, es sumamente importante apoyarlo.
If the purpose of this plan is to give better training to special education teachers, general education, and professionals in the areas of need that have been identified, then this task force is extremely important to support.
Queremos que la inclusión de nuestros hijos sea significativa y bien apoyada, donde no solamente se beneficiarán nuestros hijos con necesidades especiales, sino también los niños que están en educación general porque van a aprender entre ellos.
We want the inclusion of our children to be significant and well supported, where it's not only in benefit of our children with special needs, but also for the children that are in general education because they learn from each other and about themselves.
Sobre todo, empezando nosotros como adultos, porque somos los que les damos el ejemplo y ellos verán que la educación, niños de educación especial pueden ser incluidos en educación general.
Above all, starting with ourselves as adults, because we are the ones giving them an example, and they will see, the children in special education will see that they can be in general education, but with support.
Si este plan es aprobado, se cambiarían tantos procedimientos que se han sido implementados desde el empiezo de la educación general en 1975. Los tiempos han cambiado, la educación ha evolucionado y también es tiempo que nosotros cambiemos. Ahora es el año 2022.
If this plan is approved, so many procedures would change that have been implemented since special education was started in 1975. Times have changed and education has evolved, as well as special education. There are changes now that we're in 2022. We should start now.
También necesitamos transparencia en este proceso, porque va a ser fácil, pero si se detectan los problemas a temprano, se podrán hacer el cambio para que sea un éxito.
We also need transparency in this process because it's not going to be easy, but if anything is detected in the beginning, it will be able to be seen and changed so that it is successful.
Siempre se dice también en las IEP meetings que tu hijo no completa las metas, pero todo es una cadena. Si no tenemos el apoyo para los maestros, para profesionales, ¿cómo esperamos que nuestros hijos completen sus metas? El futuro de nuestros hijos está en sus manos. Soñamos que nuestros hijos sean integrados a una comunidad y también lo queremos en la escuela. Así que ellos se convertirán en personas con propósito para nuestra sociedad.
It's always said in IEP meetings that your child has not completed their goals, but this is all a chain because we don't have the support for the teachers and for the professionals that we hope that our children would achieve. The future of our children is in your hands. We dream about our children becoming integrated into our society and our community, and also we want this in our schools. And that way they will become people with purpose for our society.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you. Moving on to item 8, business. I'm going to open the public hearing for our proposed 2022-23 preliminary budget adoption at 8:13 p.m. There's one public comment, I believe.
Am I good? All right. Hey, good evening, Dr. Telly, board trustees, staff, and everyone here, parents. Thank you for coming out here. And first off, I'd like to start off, from my worldview to y'all's worldview. It's oftentimes we clash, we collide. But I would like to start this off with congratulating the everyone in the district, mainly the students for the class of 2022. Graduating high school is a huge accomplishment for them, and I'm very proud of all of them. At my church, I work with quite a few high school students who just graduated. They were all they're all super excited and just ready to conquer the world. So I could be more happy for them. For this budget going forward, with the tragic events of the Uvalde shootings, I want to emphasize that school security is the safety and security of the students is the utmost importance. I have 2 kids who go to school. They go at North Terrace and Oceanside. Oceanside High, go Pirates! And I just want to emphasize it. There are a lot of devices that are pretty reasonable financially. One is this night lock door, and I can give this to any of you guys. It's relatively inexpensive. I believe it works. I watched a lot of videos on it, and I'm kind of a fan. I'm not a salesman. I don't have any stock in this. The only thing I invest is what's important to me, and that's my children. That's why I'm here, speaking up for them. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Other than that, yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Dr. Sparks. We have one public comment on this item, Ann.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you heard Dr. Jordy Sparks, who's like the leader of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Department, say that there is no punitive damages. Punitive means punishment. So what is restorative practices or restorative justice? So according to Wikipedia, restorative practices or restorative justice is a social science that studies how to improve and repair relationships between people and communities. The purpose is to build healthy communities, increase social capital, decrease crime and antisocial behavior, repair harm, and restore relationships. So some of the ideas that they use for restorative justice in the classroom is mindfulness, which is taking deep breaths. Restorative circles. So they sit in a circle, they talk about their feelings, and they sing Kumbaya. Affective statements. They state their feelings. Collaborative class agreements. So you have the students come up with their own class rules. Interesting. Problem solving, anchor chart. So as a parent, basically this tells me that the teachers are not in control, but the kids are, and their ideas. And there's no punitive damage. So that means, you know, kids are allowed to be out of control. So that's a scary situation as a parent to want to send our kids to these schools where in Chicago, it's so out of control that teachers are getting beat up and teachers have no power, no authority, and no support from the district. So I don't know. This sounds very scary to me, these restorative practices.
Thank you. All right, are there any questions for Dr. Spark? We have one public comment. All right, 4 public comments.
Hey, good evening again. So this declaration, which let's be honest, will be signed regardless of what I or the other commenters are about to say. Will be signed by you all. But however, I would like to take note of the actions of the district, like changing the logo to the pride flag and raising the flag. It's pure virtue signaling, and here's why. There's only similar efforts, or the only times that you did this was during Black History Month, which you know, by changing the logo, you know, and before I go any farther, I just want to say, you know, I respect everybody. I mean, we're all created in the image of God. We are all and we're all on equal footing. We all, you know, men, women, you know, we are all endowed by our Creator. So going forward, you did this for Black History Month. That's awesome. You know, people are beautiful in their blackness. In March, it's Women's History Month. It got mentioned, but Irish heritage was not. In May, it's the month of the military child. There's a big population here. It's also Asian American and Pacific Islander Month. Those were both mentioned and proclaimed, but Jewish American History Month had no mentioning. June is also Caribbean American Month, but there is no mention there. Native American Heritage Month was last November, and there was nothing mentioned either. Those are all represented here in Oceanside. All those ethnicities, races, and cultures are represented here in Oceanside and within the district. And today is a national holiday. It's American Flag Day. The flag, that flag right there, which represents all Americans, just not one culture, or let me rephrase it, the American culture. All right, and it's our nation's flag. It's a symbol of strength, hope, justice, and freedom. It's the same flag that I've seen draped over fallen service members on tarmacs overseas many times. and there was nothing mentioned about it on social media. There's no changing of the logo. That's our flag. It represents us, all of us, no matter our race, creed, whatever. That's our flag, and it was not mentioned at all. And it's just one day. So, how is that showing equity to our diverse student body? Thank you for the time.
Thank you.
Emily Richmond.
Now, the superintendent's leadership has put the school district in the limelight this month, and flags are serving to the purpose to acknowledge and to highlight our students. Eleanor, what are your leadership skills for the 4% African American and Black students to put them in the limelight? Where is their flag they could look at and be proud? Raquel, Latino students, the majority in our district, 56%. Where is their flag? I am hoping this year's Hispanic Month resolution will be better written and include facts about the inception and purpose of the Hispanic Month. Eric, the Asian Pacific Islanders, where was their flag last month to show their pride in their ohana? You all really need to do a better job to honor all our students in the school district, to continue to support with lessons, engage students in meaningful learning, research, and writing about all the students and their staff and family. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so last month when I spoke about you guys pushing the agendas on our children that are extremely vulnerable, Eric Joyce, you said that you are not pushing this agenda of LGBTQ, and yet I see you raising the flag here really high. You're on the news, you're on YouTube, and you said you're not pushing the agenda. So you also lied, and we have you on record as lying, and yet you're running for city council. That's shameful. Also, I have all of the board members that were here for LGBTQ. We have Stacy, we have Eleanor, we have Raquel, we have Mike, all standing around the gay pride flag. And we have Julie Vitelli. So she is sponsored by ACSA and is serving as a conference chair. This conference is the first of its kind focused on creating safe and affirming spaces for LGBTQIA+ students and staff. She also serves as a chair for the San Diego County Office of Education, LGBTQIA+, the Advisory Committee. Dr. Vitelli has presented at national, state, and local conferences and is published on various topics, including creating affirming schools for LGBTQ students and staff, whole system reform. So that tells me very clearly that your purpose and your agenda, Ms. Vitelli, is to promote a whole system reform, because we have you here. You are also all over the news for the wrong reasons. Oceanside Unified Superintendent Dr. Julie Vitelli announced as Pride by the Beach 22 keynote speaker. So let me just say also, I noticed there are 35 flags and 35 genders, and I can't keep up. I don't know what's next. I mean, heterosexuals don't get a Pride Month. We don't go parading our sexuality and shoving it down kindergarten and first graders in our lessons. I don't know. I mean, your sexuality is your choice as an adult, but leave our students out of it. I mean, what is next? Bestiality? Incest? Love is love, right? Where do we draw the line? We need a new school board. We need a new superintendent. This is not okay. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve.
We do have one.
Do we have one public comment? Oh, sorry. Jumped the gun.
Renee Fernandez.
only talk in public. I actually agree with the gentleman before us. Our school sites are dog parks. People are allowed to let their dogs run wild. Please, sorry. Kid? No?
Is that you?
Yeah, baby. Thank you. That is all. Doggy bags, I carry them everywhere I go. The problem I actually have with this is that your glasses that you have, if you don't have them and you can't see and you can't drive, you can't go to work, you can't go to the store, you can't do anything like that. My glasses and my service dog, I have to have him wherever I go because my disabilities are so numerous that I would be permanently hospitalized or institutionalized and not be able to be around my family, my friends, have a job, and I would be a burden to society. But what you have written here excludes him. He is part of a disability. So what I did is I went and I looked at other school districts' policies, and they're changing. And they are going to what is written here, which I completely agree after being chased by dogs during school hours on district property because a kid jumps a fence, hits the panic bar, opens the thing, and lets their dogs run it. I have an issue with that. I have an issue with a dog not on a leash. I have an issue with supposed service dogs. So what I did is to be fair to the school district, to be fair to the students, and to be fair to people like me who do follow the rules. I have my licenses and stuff. Some of the districts are putting in, the district assumes no liability for the safety of animals voluntarily brought to school. That's what they're adding to what you want to do here. So that covers me because it's a federal offense for anybody to attack the dog or myself. It's a state offense. It's against the Disabilities Act. But what you're saying is that because he has to be with me, it's all my fault because these people are coming on campus not following the rules.
All right, your public comment time is up.
President Begin.
Give you some extra time for dropping.
I just want to assure you that service dogs like Courage will be allowed on campus, and we'll have a process outlined in our ARs to make sure that they are. So Courage is still welcome.
I know, but I just thought that you are assuming no liability for the safety of an animal allowed on district property.
Dr. Vitale's correct. I've already drafted the AR, and I've looked at several different districts to ensure that the ADA that we're in compliance with ADA, and in no way would this impact your ability to have your dog on campus. And that's going to be in the ARs. And that's something that you and I can sit and work together on also if you'd like to review it. But it's not typically what's in the policy. That goes in your admin regs.
I just note that it's in the district policy.
We are having a conversation.
I'm sorry.
So we're out of order.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
All right, so we can definitely follow up on this, right?
I'll be after
to make sure that it's fine, but I would move for the approval.
Oh, I have a comment.
Yes.
Okay.
Each person generally has 3 minutes to speak. The total time for public input may be limited to 20 minutes per item or topic. So, Anne, do we have a certain topic with lots of speakers? 8 speakers. So that's 24 minutes. All right, we'll let him speak for 3 minutes. That's 4 extra minutes. All right, call him up.
The topic is surf PE. Our first speaker will be Richard Smith. After Richard, it will be David Porter.
Come on up.
Do you want to give a couple more so they know who's coming next? So we can.
Okay. So Richard Smith, David Porter. Now you have Sarah on this, but you only have 3 minutes between. Okay. Gotcha. Got you.
So if you decide you don't want to speak, you can just say pass, but we love listening to public comment.
Richard Smith, David Porter, Danielle Steele, Taylor Brumbaugh, Margot Alexander. I'm messing up your names, I know. Alyssa, Sarah Porter, Mike and Alexander. So in that order, I'll remind you.
All right, start the clock, and you're up.
All right. Hello, my name is Richard Smith. I'm here on the behalf of my child and numerous other children at Oceanside High for the cancellation, actually the abrupt cancellation of Surf PE. We were notified last Monday, prior to finals week, that Surf PE was not going to be offered any longer. It is a safe, it is a healthy sport, a healthy activity. It creates self-awareness and self-control in critical situations. It's a great learning experience for our kids, fantastic for oceanography, and it's a great part of our community as Oceanside. You guys mentioned Oceanside as community, and going into Portrait of a Graduate, the future of our community is the kids. There's a huge surf community within Oceanside, from surf shops, surfboard manufacturing, clothing manufacturing, and alternate avenues for career enhancement for these kids in post-high school and college. Amazing sport, like I said. I'm avid in it. My son has been in it for 3 semesters at Oceanside High, and when he was pulled into the counselor's office and she informed him that it was no longer offered, he was devastated, and it definitely affects whether my child continues at Oceanside High. I was told this and asked the teacher of the class, and he was not informed that the class was canceled. So how the chain of communication lies from this board to the board at Oceanside High, I'm unfamiliar with. But obviously there is a link missing somewhere. Oceanside also, as a surf community, hosts local, regional, state, and international surf competitions. Here, there is currently a national competition going on at Oceanside Harbor, national championships, okay? We have people coming from all over the world to come to Oceanside and experience our ocean. And we cancel Surf PE, a great avenue for our children to involve themselves. We have 2 local kids who are on the global surf world, who are featured on webcast and television internationally with their names blurred out and Oceanside being mentioned. I've been overseas in a little country called New Zealand wearing my Oceanside board rider shirt. And a guy comes up to me, he's like, I've been to Oceanside. I love that place. Like, we have a tremendous asset within Surf PE. It needs not to be expelled and eliminated. It needs to be expanded. It needs to be enhanced. It needs to be nurtured throughout the school. Our kids get amazing self-awareness, self-guidance, and tremendous health benefits out of this class. Please do not remove this class. Thank you.
Thank you.
David Porter.
This is the middle school championship trophy.
Thank you. I want to tell the board I appreciate the opportunity to say some words here. So this is a rhetorical question because I know you can't answer, but what are the elements that make up a school? Right? It's the educators, it's the students, it's also the community and the culture, and that's what I want to talk about is the community and culture, and it was hit on before. I'm a local Oceanside father of 2 girls who are going to Oceanside High School, And Oceanside is a birthplace of some of the greatest surfers, some of the surf industry, surf shops, shapers, and manufacturers. And it's really in the DNA of our community here in Oceanside. 3 weeks ago, on May 23rd, the USA Surfing organization recently named Oceanside an official training ground for USA Surfing. Oceanside is also the host city for USA Surfing Championships that was just spoken about for adult shortboarders, longboarders, stand-up paddleboarders, and parasurfers. Phil Edwards, don't know if you know him, but he was the world's first professional surfer and came from Oceanside. My point is this is baked into our community and our DNA. And I look up some academic articles, right, from the Journal of Physical Education on surfing on physical education curriculum and the impact of students' well-being. And I'm going to quote, it says, surfing has been established as a valuable therapeutic approach in managing the well-being of combat vets, improving social skills in children and adolescents with autism, and creating stimulating learning environments for children with disabilities, and promoting personal well-being and social integration of vulnerable children and adolescents. I guess I'm just here to tell you that, the decision as a parent, I feel like was made in a vacuum. And I understand that has to happen sometimes. And most of the things talked about tonight were additive in nature, but we don't talk about the things that are subtractive in nature that's going on. I surf out at the pier with my daughter at PE with all those kids. The community that's built between those kids, the things that they learn, and the people that they become, not just because of surfing, but the culture that it brings, and in overcoming the things. The surfing is not an easy sport. It's difficult. I just asked you to reconsider and maybe have this placed on a future agenda item for discussion. This is part of who we are here in Oceanside. It's part of who I am. And when I'm out there in the water, not only with the students, but with also other fellow people in the community taking part in it, it's something special. And I would hate to see that taken away, and I hope that you take that into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody, thank you so much. I don't know how you guys do this. I've never been to a board meeting. I am so impressed that you guys have this job. So, my daughter Paisley will be a junior at Oceanside High School in the fall. She serves for PE, and this PE class is being threatened to be shut down. So there's this book I kept thinking about that I read when she was a little kid called Spark, The Revolutionary New Science of Exercise and the Brain. This book explains research that, and now I quote, proves that exercise is truly our best defense against everything from depression to ADD to addiction to aggression, close quote. Surf PE creates not only these best defenses, it helps build confidence. It gives these kids an opportunity to literally be surrounded in nature, unplugged, receiving vitamin D, which is important for health and life, and it brings them happiness. Yes, these high school kids could participate in other physical activities that are offered at Oceanside High School, but those activities do not resonate with some of them. So those activities will not bring them fulfillment. I've heard that this possible cancellation of Surf PE is because of how small the group of kids might be. But then I ask you, and I know it has to be rhetorical, do you not see value in minorities? Should minorities not be offered what they need? Should we cancel other programs that minorities have asked for and have rightfully been given? Should we dismiss the all-inclusiveness that I was hoping our nation was finally adapting to and adopting? Surf PE is an extremely healthy activity that continues on long after high school. It requires no equipment from the school. We don't need money from you. I played soccer at a San Clemente High School in the late 80s and the 90s, and I also surfed. I still surf. I surfed this morning with my daughter Paisley. Let me tell you, it has been decades that I have played soccer. Why? Because do you know how impossible it is to get together about 20 people to play any sport when you're my age, or even when you're 30? The kids that I knew growing up that surf, guess what? They all still surf. Surfing helps us maintain perspective. It's something that we can enjoy our whole lives, even if we are living completely alone If you are living an alone life, you can still get in the water. We surf with an older guy named Kurt. He's had one of the worst lives I have ever known. He's resilient, and one day years ago I asked him how he has made it through all that life has given him. And he told me that without surfing, he would have ended his life. He told me that surfing is his therapy and that he needs it constantly. We have a radical mental health crisis on our hands in this nation. Do you seriously want to cancel a program that creates a positive lifestyle and a healthy habit in these kids, that it'll be something they can turn to? I'm just going to add one more thing. Timing matters with surfing. If you don't surf, you don't understand that swell, wind, and tide matters. Okay, so the morning is the best time to surf. If you're not going to let these kids get out in the morning and surf, thank you so much.
Your 3 minutes are up.
Taylor?
Hello. I had a speech prepared, but I'm going to just keep it simple. So I am a middle school teacher. I've had many students who have promoted and have chosen to come to Oceanside High because they loved that surf was offered here. At our school, we value a diversified selection of electives, 3 different types of PE, personalized learning, and voice and choice. So I'm super stoked that Oceanside had this, and a lot of my kids like to go there, and I have a nephew that goes there and a niece that goes there, and so I came. Sorry, I'm going off my speech, so I'm just going from my head. So I came only because I know we're talking about closing down this PE program. I know that the numbers are here or there. That's probably why that's happening. But as Sarah has said before, these people still need it, these kids still need it, and whether it is 50, 20, or 5, it makes a big impact on these children, and they've been isolated and alone for 2 years, and the mental health is not okay with these kids, and for some of these kids, this is what they need, and they wake up in the morning, they want to go there, and they want to have this time, and it gets them ready to go to school, and guess what? They want to show up to high school. And that's half the challenge, is showing up. So they get excited, and for those 9 or 50, however number it is, they're excited to come to high school, and they're going to do amazing things when they move on. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank
Michael.
you.
Hi, my name is Margot Alexander, and I just graduated from Oceanside High School. Thank you. Today, I wanted to talk about the importance of surf PE and why it should not be taken from our students wanting to exercise and learn how to surf. Today, many students are busy, they have to work, they have to take care of their siblings and do hours of homework. They don't have time to go out and surf. Surf PE is a perfect opportunity for students to exercise while being in nature and to take full advantage of our environment. From my experience, during regular PE, we spent many hours indoors taking notes about fitness, while at surf PE you're outside and actually in nature. The beach is less than 5 minutes away from our school and is a perfect resource for children, especially those who don't know how to surf and who don't have the resource to learn how to surf outside of school. If the students are the district's main priority, it doesn't matter if there are 30 kids in a class or there are only 5. They should care about the students' mental health. I have many small classes, including AP Art History with less than 10 students and Calculus BC with 15 students, where the class size isn't a problem. But in today's world of mental health, exercise is just as important as learning and helps many students with mental health issues. We need to provide children opportunities to get outside and exercise, and surf PE is one of those activities that a school like Oceanside should never abandon. Thank you.
Thanks for being patient with us. We're a rowdy crew, but we love this city. and we're big beach people. So it's important to us to keep this culture going, just like a lot of my friends back there have said. So I'm also a middle school teacher in Vista Unified. And I've had several students actually transfer to your school district, which is only a few blocks from my house. So, I love this place. But they've transferred to the school district to take surf PE. So you're talking about declining enrollment. And this is an opportunity that even if you're picking up only like 4 or 5 students a year because of this class, they're coming in from another district. So that's actually going to help you with your enrollment. Currently, my niece is in the program, and I know after this virtual world from the pandemic, a lot of kids have really struggled coming back to in-person learning. And having a reason to come to an early morning class gets these kids to school and gets them back in this physical classroom, which, of course, I'm passionate about. So I would urge, it doesn't matter the numbers, that we keep this class. Just because this is Oceanside, we're going to gain students to this district because of this class, and it's so great for these kids to have a reason to come to school. Thanks.
My name's Mike and Alexander, and I have 3 kids in the Oceanside School District, one that you've already heard from who just graduated, so I guess I only have 2 now. But I'm also a therapist, and my caseload is filled to the brim with anxious and depressed teens. And I always ask them, what do you do to cope with the struggles in your life? And getting outside in nature is my greatest hope for them. So I hope that you guys consider that. I know money drives programs, but I think children's mental health should also be a top priority, because I think we can all agree that every child matters.
All right, that's it for our surfing topic. Thank you very much.
Next speaker is Michael Alvarez. Is he still here?
Good evening, President, board members, and administration. I'm here on behalf of the scholars of OUSD School District, and I would just like to thank you for recognizing our achievements. And I also want to thank you for taking into consideration that we do need Chromebooks and counselors, because based upon my personal experiences, accidents do happen. Hardware gets broken, which means they need replacements. And as for counselors, children need support, especially because, well, things happen with other kids, and they need to be able to have somewhere to go to release and de-stress. It also helps them by talking things out so that there's not another Uvalde situation. Anyone who believes that counselors, for those that have no support, are ignorant of both public education and real-time needs of current students in the district. Another thing I would like to thank you for is the security, and whoever says there is not enough security in elementary schools and middle schools needs to do their research before coming out and speaking to the board about something so preposterous. Whoever said we are wasting our money, people saying that we are wasting our money, is obviously not in touch with the district needs and is just showing how ignorant they really are. I would like to say something towards the audience. Y'all really need to chill. This is targeting towards our boards and is really unnecessary. Y'all really need to go back to school and do your homework, because apparently y'all don't want to do it. So before you come here, you should really think before you do. Thank you.
Bradley Tobias.
So after hearing all that surfing talk, I want to go find a surfboard. I've never done it before. It sounds fun. Got me all pumped up. Learning new skills. That's what it's all about. So I'm gonna be short and sweet. It's getting late here, so I know that we all wanna go home. So just to jump right into it. Yesterday, Oceanside City Council member Christopher Rodriguez posted on Facebook about encouraging members of the public to run for the Board of Trustees in areas 1, 3, and 4, and offered support to include training for that. Dr. Stacy Begin, you commented on this, I quote, "What am a-hole?" End quote. I got screenshots to prove it. I'm assuming that you were simply trying to call the council member an a-hole. However, this is a violation of the district HR policies and the civility policy that was published last October, which says civil behavior is courteous and reasonable behavior, which is respectful to others and includes integrity, honesty, acceptance, timeliness, dependability, observance of laws and rules, and effective communication. Simply put, you violated that policy, Dr. Begin. And since you are my trustee representative, I feel like that's not representative of us in our trustee area. Since then, you have edited the comment to simply be, quote, OUSD. Finally, ma'am, I feel like you should offer the councilman a public apology, and you should be ashamed of yourself. Thank you.
Rose Higuera.
Oh my goodness, Stacy. Wow, that's crazy. I mean, the public has entrusted you guys to be leaders. What is happening? This is what we're talking about. We need leaders, strong leaders full of integrity and courage. We don't need followers. We don't need soft people that go with the agenda. We need people that leave the politics out and fight for our kids. I mean, the budget that you guys showed was like $124 billion. And what do we have to show for it? Kids that are completely stressed out and anxious and learning all kinds of garbage. Stick to education, reading, writing, math. My goodness, we need some good, strong leaders. So Eric Joyce's seat is coming up for election. Stacy's seat is coming up and Raquel's. So I encourage you, moms and dads, with common sense. That's all we need, common sense leaders that are willing to put their feelings aside and fight for our kids, which they are going to be our future very, very quickly. We need you to run for these positions and do the right thing for our kids. Leave the politics and everything else out of it and teach the kids how to compete in a global society where we need girls, in sciences, technology, engineering, math. We need boys to be boys and stay in their lane and not try to be girls and not try to get our girls' scholarships, not try to come in our girls' locker rooms and use our girls' bathroom. We need protection for our kids. So we need some fighters, some strong fighters. So I encourage people that are listening, please run for those seats. We need leaders desperately, and we need them now because things are very aggressively changing and unfortunately not in the right direction. So thank you.
Patrick Higuera.
Yeah, you guys crack me up how you're giving yourselves all pats on the back. Oh, we're doing such a great job, this and that. This comes from greatschools.org. Out of the 11 schools that we have in our district, 3 of our schools scored high, a 6 out of 10. Wow, that doesn't sound too good to me. 4 of them scored a 4. So it's obvious you guys aren't doing your job. You guys are not doing your job at all. As we've said to you before, reading, writing, arithmetic, U.S. history, the Constitution, Bill of Rights, traditional family values. That's what we want, traditional family values. You said it many, many times. Let's see what the Lord says about what you guys have been trying to push. Therefore, God has also given them up to uncleanliness and the lust of their hearts to dishonor their bodies among themselves, who exchanged the truth of God for the lie and worship and serve the creature rather than the creator. The creature, serving the creature rather than the creator who is blessed forever. Amen. For this reason, God gave them up to vile passions. When we worship the creature instead of the creator, we lose sight of our identity as those who have a higher caller than animals. These people chose to reject God, and God allowed them to do it. God does not usually stop us from making choices that are against his will. He lets us declare our supposed independence from him, even though he knows that in time we will become slaves to our own rebellious choices. Does life without God look like freedom to you? Look more closely. There is no worse slavery than slavery to sin. And then it goes on and says, many heathen practices encourages it. God is willing to receive anyone who comes to him in faith. And, I'm sorry, I stopped right. When people say that any sex act is acceptable as long as nobody gets hurt, they are fooling themselves in the long run. Sin hurts people, individuals, families, whole societies. How sad is that people who worship the things God made instead of the Creator so often distort and destroy the very thing they claim to value. Vitaly, I got a prophecy for you. I've said it before, and maybe you didn't understand it, but I'm going to say it to you again. This is a prophecy for you, Vitaly. Whoever causes one of these little ones who believe in me to sin, it would be better for him or her if a millstone were hung around their neck and they were to be drowned in the depths of the ocean.
That is threatening.
You need to remember that.
Language. That's threatening
No,
language.
that's the word
and has
of God.
no
That's
place
the word.
in this
That is the
courtroom.
word of God, and don't disrupt me. It's my time to talk.
No.
I'm done.
Katie Taylor. Oh, she left. Jim Hinderleiter.
Good evening. I am Jim Hinderleiter. I am a special ed teacher in the Oceanside School District. I was born and raised in Oceanside, third generation Oceanside. I went to Palmquest, I went to Lincoln, I went to Oceanside, I went to El Camino High when El Camino High became El Camino High. And I've been teaching in the district for 25 years. I was an aide for 4 years here before that. I've seen a lot of superintendents come and go. I've seen a lot of board members my whole life. And let me tell you guys something. Where we're at right now, what I've seen and what we've been through, I think we're absolutely at the best place we have ever been in this district. I'm a Christian. I'm a conservative. And my daughter went to school here who had special needs, and she passed away at the age of 12. She attended Ivy Ranch, and agenda, political persuasions or whatever, that doesn't mean anything. What it means for me in this district is that she was loved. She was cared for. She was a part of that classroom. That's why I'm a special ed teacher right now. I make sure that my students are loved. They're part of the classroom. They participate. This young man who shot the school up in Texas hit me very, very personally because my daughter was their age. This boy didn't feel like he belonged. He didn't feel like he had a place. He had some speech impediments, and he felt he didn't fit in. He didn't have a place. So, let alone with the security and the gun violence and the use of guns and whatever else, I think it comes down to if we can give our students a sense of belonging, a sense of identity, that they're cared for and that they're loved, I think that will go a long, long way to having students who are engaged and who don't feel hopeless. I keep thinking of the term hopeless. It's horrible when a student comes to that part where they feel hopeless. I want to give them hope. You as a district, you as leaders, I believe you're doing that. I believe that you are giving our students hope. I think you're giving them purpose. And I just commend you for what you're doing. I'm very, very proud to be part of this district right now and the direction that we're headed. Thank you.
Susan Custer. Tracy Fannin.
Thank you so much for giving me a few minutes. I'm just going to make it short. I was going to say a lot of different things, but I just wanted to let you know that I'm really upset, but I'm going to try to make it all positive because that's about life. You know, a kid could stand in the classroom and say, sit down and shut up, and stand in your face, and you're going to sit down because that child has more control now than you do. But you are supposed to still try to make that child feel like they're included. But we do have new things, new challenges. We've got gun violence. People are talking about bringing guns to school, and we got to report things because we don't want something to go to the next step. We don't want to be the one where we didn't do what we needed to do, and the next day, 13 students died. So I'm a positive person, but I have to say that I decided for the last 3 months, my name is Tracy. I forgot to introduce myself. I'm a little tired. Fannin is my last name. I'm Irish. I don't drink. That's funny. But I really care about all kids. I care about all cultures. It's not just about cultures. It's about those kids, every single one of them, no matter what grade they're in, no matter what age they are. But it's also about what we're doing in those classrooms. We can't ignore what's not being done. We have to try to do our job to do that. I think it's very important that we make it positive. Sometimes we have to give constructive criticism. However, it's also very important that we're honest and we tell the truth, that we don't blame someone else because we lacked in doing something that we should have done. We don't turn around stories and make people feel horrible. So I subbed in pre-K through 12th because I wanted to get to know Oceanside. I wanted to get to know the students. I wanted to get to know the people. I'm a highly qualified teacher. I've got a dual master's degree. I didn't have to substitute teach, but I knew I was new here. I knew I had to get to know you and the children. There's a lot of challenge now. It's not like it used to be. I've been in education for a while. I only took out a little while because I am a victim of identity theft. I went through a process. I won't go over here. If you want to know about my story, I'll tell you. It's a very unique one. I made it through it. But it's something that doesn't happen to too many people. And I made it through that too. I made it through many things. I don't believe that it's a bad thing to say you're a global leader or a global change agent if you look at it in the way you need to look at it. You're looking at it in that classroom because each student is different cultures, and you're going to help each one of them. I'm not going to ignore one of the cultures because there's a different culture in my room. I'm a global leader because I'm going to help each one of them that need that help. I'm not always 8 legs and 8 arms. I'm not an octopus, so I have to get around and do the best I can. However, I don't deserve to be let go.
3 minutes are
so
up.
I want to sum it up.
Your 3 minutes is up.
I'm going to agree that a substitute teacher is not my job.
Is that our last public comment?
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
Allison,
the next
Nino?
speaker.
Well, I know the dog
Patty
part.
K.
You only have 3 minutes.
I have a master's in educational leadership.
I heard you, and you only have 3 minutes.
And
Do
I'll
we
tell
have
you about
anybody
my
else
traveling
tonight?
around the world later.
No, you can't do that. Is there anybody else?
I just want to say that there is a real good role model for your LGBTQ community that I want you to be aware of, and I don't know who your role model is, but he is a very accomplished, well-respected gay man, and he said on national television this week or last week that the only flag that he would be flying this month was the American flag. And I want to leave you with that thought. We are Americans. That's what keeps us together. These other groups divide us. He is an American first. Thank you.
Thank you. Is that it? All right. I adjourn the meeting at 9:54 p.m.